Hey, what's that over there?
Over there, you see the sandy shores of the continent of Africa.
Oh, what's over there?
Oh, it's an untouched land filled with giant creatures and misty jungles. A land of adventure and plenty.
Are there people?
Yes.
Well, what color are they?
Black, the savages.
They're savages?
Yes.
What is that big golden palace?
Don't worry about that.
What is that thriving, bustling market over there?
No, that's not a well-engineered modern city at all. That's let's call it cattle ranch?
What are those sparkly rocks that they have in abundance?
Oh, those are diamonds. They don't know their value. We're going to take those.
Oh, so this is ours now?
Yes, everything here is ours now. Like I said, they're savages.
Oh, perfect. And that, boys and girls, is the history of the colonization of Africa.
Mr. Patrick, what did they do to the people there? Fuck.
They took them all on vacation far, far away for many hundreds of years.
Yay!
Welcome back, everybody, to Delete Everything Podcast, the small, unassuming group of friendly, pale-skinned people who's just moved into your beautiful paradise nation. I am your captain, Patrick Wall, and with me, I think he manned the oars on the rowboat from the ship to the shore, and now he is dutifully holding my parasol.
Riley Bowen. At your pleasure, my lord.
Call the parasol boy.
Stool boy.
Stool boy. So, first and foremost, thank you guys, anybody who has left a review, rating, Spotify comment, you name it. We love it. Thank you guys so much. If you have not done any of those things yet,
fuck you.
First of all, we're turning this ship around and we're coming to your home.
Turn this ship around.
Colonize it.
Madman.
We're going to colonize your home.
Colonize your fucking ass.
Ooh, damn.
Sorry.
God damn. I'm about to say he gonna colonize your ass.
Oh, sorry. A little slap happy today.
But guess what? You can still do those things. You can still, if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review and a rating. If you're on Spotify, you can leave us a rating. And a comment. If you're on like an individual episode and we say something that highly offends you, leave a comment about it. Be like, hey, you guys said this thing and it upset us. And we'll be like, hey.
Well, how can we be more effective? What would you like to hear from us? Listen, we're here for you.
More than likely, hopefully it's something that you said that you think was funny. But yeah, leave a comment on the individual episodes on Spotify. What else? They can leave ratings on, like, I don't know, fucking Audible or some other things.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Write some shit on Facebook and tag me in it.
There's so many things.
Did I delete everything podcast? I'm good.
There's so many things. There's so many things. Whatever you guys can do to just say, hey, what's up, guys? We like you. Then we're going to be into it. So also, if you want to follow us on Instagram, you can see photos from this episode. You can see photos from past episodes, all the way back to episode 1. We have from the very first episode, right?
Yeah, actually, I honestly like the way that we do them now with the reels, but if you go back to like our first few, they're really cute. I like I kind of miss the format of like.
The only thing with the reels is sometimes you do them where like it flips through the photos super fast.
I do kind of like the clicky format, but the reels just play for people.
Yeah. But I think you could give it just air it out a little bit more.
Okay. Well,
normally we talk about these things off mic.
I oftentimes do is the thing, but like it'll auto cut to like match with the song that's playing. That's just a feature that's just on there, and I'll go back in and I'll separate.
Yeah, because you can only use so much of the song.
Exactly,
right?
and I'll separate more appropriately from bit to bit. Yeah. Sometimes I'll work in a little gag where I'll do like a really long picture and then real quick one and then real long.
I do remember because I think the last one that I had to do was the Night Witches Instagram, which is not trying to toot
That's
my
a
own horn,
particularly
but
good
it's
one,
a
yeah.
really good one. Just because the episode was so good.
And the song is really
and the
good,
song
too,
is
yeah.
so good on the reel. And all the
Blackwater Holy
photos
Light.
are so good.
You guys
So-
don't know the band Blackwater Holy Light. Fucking dig
Yeah,
'em.
you're missing out. You should definitely dive into that. But
That is like Babe Doom, I would call it.
yeah, it is. It's 100%. It's just stoner rock, like Babe Doom, fucking cool shit.
So good. Yeah.
It's really, really good. If you want a little sampling, go on our Instagram, Delete Everything Podcast, and scroll down until you get to the Night Witches episode. And the song that I picked for that is
That's
particularly
really good, yeah.
fucking badass.
And if you would like a new format for
But I do remember, but just to finish my point, I do remember doing that Instagram reel and like trying to get all the like which photos do I want to like sit on the screen for a little bit longer and this and that, and like trying to line up the song right.
Yeah.
It was a fucking process.
It's a process. I can do
yeah.
it pretty quick. I can do it about 10, 15 minutes now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was doing it for like an hour.
Yeah. Well, that's how I started too. I used to like put like a fuckload of care in it. And now I can do it in about 15 minutes. I'll just look for the topic, tap and save all the pictures real
You heard
fast.
it here first, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't care anymore.
No, I
He just
care very
does
much.
not-
I'm good. I streamlined it.
I'm fucking
Fucking. Oh, but I was gonna say, yeah. So, check out the Night Witches episode if you want to hear that. If you'd like to hear a new use for the term night witching, check out our Patreon. we recently dropped. I think that was last.
the clown scare.
Is that gonna
the
be
clown
last
scare? That'll
week's?
be this week. I think
Is
that'll
that
be in
this week?
conjunction with this week.
So yeah,
maybe last
check
week, I
out
can't
the
remember.
Clown Scare Patreon for a new format to think about night witching.
Yeah, Drew names the Patreon episode, so it'll be something about clowns though.
Yeah.
We came up with a new definition for night witching, which is fucking ridiculous.
Speaking of old episodes, I was gonna kind of try and save this for the end of the episode, but I do want to touch on this real quick. Yesterday, we lost the great Dr. Jane Goodall.
We did.
As a personal hero of mine.
R.I.P.
People that know me know that she's been like a lifelong like source of inspiration for me, and it's pretty gutting. But she's 91.
It's a good life.
It's a good life. It's a nice long life of very
full of cool shit.
so much fucking dope stuff, dude. Like so many adventures, so many cool things, so many actionable like action hero moments in her life. It's crazy.
I'd like to believe that she died with very few regrets.
I mean, I don't know what she could regret. You know?
I feel like everybody has something,
Yeah.
but
I feel like her regrets would be like, well, didn't save all the chimps.
I would love to believe that she died with very few regrets.
I just hope her work echoes through eternity, and we can like have a better world with her as like a part of it. But if you would like to know a little bit more about Jane Goodall and you haven't already listened to the episode, please go back and check out our Trimates episode.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a sad moment. But I also she's 91.
Yeah, the Trimates is the name of the episode. I don't remember what number it is, but it's a really good episode.
It's a really good. It was my birthday episode. It's a topic very dear to my heart. And
yeah, so it would have been in May.
Yeah. What else do I want to say about that? Jane Goodall kept touring, promoting.
She was on a tour.
She was on tour in LA. And like I've seen her
She was
tours.
on a speaking tour when she passed.
When I saw her 20 plus years ago, she was quite elderly.
Yeah.
And spry, but like she was in her like mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
And to the fact that she was doing that still every year, going out and then going back to the fucking jungle. And
it's a real bummer for me is that after our Trimates episode, I thought to myself, the next time Jane Goodall comes anywhere in the vicinity, I should go check it out because she was just fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's fucking just an absolutely incredible woman.
Funny that it's going to kind of tie into our episode today.
Well, I figured because we're
not Jane Goodall specifically.
We're talking about Africa.
We are talking a lot about Africa tonight.
And Jane Goodall, of course,
spent a lot of her time there.
About 50 years. She was 91.
A long fucking time.
So like 70 years.
A long time.
Yeah, like 70 years of her life she spent studying apes in Gombe. So
crazy.
Dude, fucking psychotic. And I'm cursing too much to show how much respect I have for this woman. Again, I got her tattooed on my chest. It's like my absolute hero. And you know, I'd like to hope everybody uses her example moving forward into a better, kinder world.
Yeah,
hopefully.
R.I.P. for sure. Yeah, like what an incredible person.
Yeah, go check out that episode, and if you'd like to know more about Jane Goodall, dude, just drop me a line. I will tell you everything about her.
Riley will literally talk about her.
We could talk about
hours.
her forever. Yeah.
Okay, well, back to this. So yeah, Instagram, get on there, give us a follow. You can see all the photos from this episode, any of the other episodes. It's all up there. Also, if you haven't been on our YouTube in a while, we've been doing some silly shit on there, so you should check it out. You should give us a follow there, please, and thank you. And you can comment on all that stuff too. We're gonna keep doing. We've had some camera issues lately, but we're gonna get back on board with some of the. If you've been on our YouTube, or if you go on our YouTube after hearing this, you're gonna see some of the dumb shit we've been doing on there, which is incredibly funny. So I'm not mad about it.
I was thinking would be good is if we just replace all video of us with just like hot ladies shaking it, and I think that would probably up our viewership.
What about us shaking it with hot ladies?
I would get in a lot of trouble for that. Well, unless like
not on hot ladies, like we choreograph a whole thing, and
Okay,
we all get matching outfits, and it's like 12 hot ladies, and then me, you, and Drew, and we're all dressed the same, and we all have a choreography for, let's say the song "Pump Up the Jam" by who? Supersonic?
Pump up the jams, pump it up.
Who did that?
Who's that?
Oh, please Tuesday, get your booty on the floor tonight. I know the group. I just can't think of it right now.
I can look it up right now, actually.
I said Supersonic, but it's not Supersonic. That was a 90s like alt rock band. Oh my God, what's the name? I'm trying to think of it before you bring it up. Fuck. What is it?
Hold on. Fuck.
Why is it taking you so long?
Because I hit 90s. It's not 90s, it's 80s.
Just Pump Up the Jam.
Oh, I should have just done that.
What are you looking for? What did you Google?
All right, sorry. Hold on.
What did you Google?
I was trying 90s R&B. It's Technotronic.
Technotronic. I said Supersonic.
No, Supersonic is Closing Time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
yeah, recently my daughter got really obsessed with it.
Finish this intro.
Do we? Recently, my daughter got really obsessed with a K-pop band named Stray Kids.
Stray
Kids, which I think is just god fucking awful. But I want to be supportive. So what I've noticed is that the through line in K-pop is that they use a lot of like 90s or 80s and 90s house music and like techno lines.
Yeah.
Right. So every time she plays a Stray Kids song now, I'll play like Belle Biv DeVoe or CNC Music Factory.
Boys to Men, ABC.
I definitely played some Boys to Men.
I love it. Lastly, the last thing on this really long intro is Patreon, man. You should do it. I promise you won't regret it. It's $8 and it's so many fucking episodes at this point. It's like 50 bonus episodes.
We call them boners episodes.
The 50 boners episodes. It's, you got me to say it. Yeah. Is this the first time I've said it?
That's the first time you've officially done it. Yeah. It's been a war of attrition on this topic.
I've been outvoted. The last week I was outvoted by both Riley and Drew and guest Brian Velez.
Big developments. We are officially titling our Patreon episodes as boners episodes from now on. We have finally reached the mountaintop, ladies and gentlemen.
It costs $8, you guys. You can't even get a fucking 6-pack of beer for $8 anymore.
Yeah, you can.
What beer?
Lone Star?
Where do you get Lone Star beer?
Texas.
How often are you in Texas?
I mean, I don't know. I've done it. I've definitely gotten like a 6er of Lone Star.
A fucking a 6-pack of domestic like fucking Miller Lite, which is what I normally drink, is like $10.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not cheap, bro.
Damn, I've only stopped drinking like a year and a half ago, and it was like $8.65.
Yeah, it's still more than $8.
That's true. Fuck.
So I'm not saying choose us over beer. I'm saying that beer makes you dumber and we make you smarter. So, use your best discretion.
If you combine the two, you'll stay pretty much the same, but you'll have fun doing it.
Yeah, that is true. I got a crispy Miller Lite here in front of me as we speak, baby.
I got a La Croix.
Also an entire bottle of tequila.
I'm just drinking so many liquids. I'm going to have to pee so bad. I got an empty Coca-Cola bottle. I've got a water bottle. I got another water bottle in my hand.
I thought it was weird. Do you have rabies?
I'm on my
Why are you drinking so much?
I don't know. It's because I'm wearing sweatpants and I'm like too warm. I'm constantly sweating in this hell shack.
I came in very light, breezy clothes today.
Yeah, I did not.
I'm light and breezy, baby. Hey,
I'm fat and cheesy.
By the way, speaking of Patreon, shout out to Elias, new Patreon member.
What up, dog?
We're happy to have you, and we're gonna, I don't know, make the same amount of dick jokes probably.
Elias asked us to read this message. All hail the bear Jew. Thank you, Elias.
The one he sent me said something about, I don't know, it was cut out of like magazines, and it said something about meeting him at a specific location with a specific amount of cash.
Did he ask you for a hand job with Dr. Bronner's too?
And then my family would be released without any harm being done to them. And no cops. I do remember the last line was no cops.
Yeah, he loves arts and crafts.
And I'm just looking at it. Every single letter was from a different page of them. I mean, I was like, how many magazines?
That's good. You got to get that typeface.
How many magazines?
You know, really, if you want to write a lot of letters like that, if you want to write a lot of letters, you want to write a lot of letters, you want to write a lot of letters, you want to write a lot of letters like that, you just get, what you do is you start with A and you cut out like 10 examples of A from the magazine from different pages.
Okay. Is that?
And you do that. So then you can get like a little, get with your little organizers.
Yeah.
So you got your different letters.
You heard it here first, folks. Riley is a big proponent of setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, you got to prep. You got to prep.
When you abduct.
And wear gloves, because if your fingerprints are on the fucking letter, what the fuck are you doing anyway?
Gloves. You use tweezers, brother.
Well, you use gloves and tweezers. You don't want any tweezers. What you really want to do, mask up too if you got any facial hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to get in the shower first, scrub up real good.
You know what works really well actually.
Think Gattaca. Remember the movie Gattaca?
With Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, with Ethan Hawke and Jude Law.
Yeah. You know what apparently works really well for fingerprints is gasoline.
Uma Thurman.
So if you spritz your letter with gasoline, we learned this from the Black Dahlia Killer. Spritz your letter with gasoline, you can't get any. Or really, I guess
I don't know that works anymore.
Any sort of.
We're talking about the 1940s, brother.
Well, because fingerprints are very specifically like the greasy residue from your finger. Mm-hmm. It's not like in the dust on the thing. It's like the fucking grease from your finger leaves that residue. So if you use like a solvent, maybe something with like an alcohol content, vodka maybe, or witch hazel, ammonia.
I've got tequila.
Yeah, pour tequila on it.
Pour tequila on me. All right, let's jump into this shit. So this is
the story of a girl.
Fucking thank Christ. This is our last real heavy one for like a month. I think we're getting into a part of our schedule where we're going to do some really fun ones.
Yeah.
But this one was tough. This is obviously you've probably read the title of the episode at this point.
Oh, fuck, we are actually headed for a really heavy one. God damn it.
Which one are you looking at?
1023 or whatever.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down.
Yeah,
that's a real heavy one.
Oh, that's a fucking heavy one. That was my suggestion. Yeah, that's a fucking gnarly.
That was also
Didn't we both look at the same video?
No,
right? Because
I know who suggested that first.
Huh?
Patreon listener Danny.
Oh, hey, that's a good one. Yeah,
she requested that one. So she is the one person listening to this that's going to know what's coming up, because I think that's the only one that she's
suggested
requested.
A lot of stuff. To be fair, she's very involved. Yeah.
She's requested a lot of crazy things like lists of the movies that you haven't
you
asked me if I've seen, and I go, of course not.
The fucking the books.
She has asked for reference stuff,
I want
which is
to
cool,
do a reference material episode.
I think we should.
Yeah, we absolutely should. As a bonus, just fucking throw that one in.
I think we really should.
Not a boners. Boners is Patreon. A bonus for the main feed. But Danny also is a friend from long back, and she's not a Pacific Islander. She's like a Caribbean Islander.
She is
fucking
Trinidadian.
God damn it! Sorry, babe. Fucking no, not Trinidadian. She's from St. Croix.
Cruzan.
Yeah, there you go. So she has a lot of stuff that she wants to get covered.
Yeah.
Actually, this topic of colonization is pretty heavily in that area as well.
She also, whenever I mentioned, there was an episode where I mentioned, so Danny is one of our longtime listeners. She's super engaged. She's always chatting with us. She's a Patreon follower. We converse all, the three of us with her through our Patreon. But if you join Patreon, you can message us and stuff. You can also, like, even on Spotify, if you leave a comment, we respond all the time. So yeah, we're engaged with anybody, but Danny is specifically always sort of like talking to us and stuff. There was an episode where I started to get into what we're going to cover today, and specifically colonization in Africa. And I remember that she made a comment on whatever episode that was on Spotify. She made a comment and she was like, "Oh God," like something along the lines of, "I could tell Patrick like how antsy he is to get into like African colonization, because it is and the worst part is that like it was perpetuated by my ancestors."
Yeah.
To a great degree. So, but yeah,
are you Dutch?
No, Portuguese.
Oh, gross.
Portuguese were the first. Well, I'm not Portuguese. I'm Brazilian, but I mean, my Brazilian ancestry came in large part from Portugal. Not entirely, but
Oh, our new Patreon listener and friend Elias, actually, hope you got a good laugh out of that Portuguese oh gross joke. His wife's Portuguese.
Oh, like from Portugal?
Our family is.
Oh, okay. They speak Portuguese like they have a mouthful of peanut butter.
Nah.
You
And
should tell your Elias, tell your wife.
Portuguese already sounds like the bastard son of Spanish and French, so.
It is that's probably the easiest way to describe it, but then the Brazilians made it very, very beautiful and flowy and undulating, and it's very, it's pretty.
Just sounded hot.
Portugal. So I've been to Portugal, and their Portuguese there is just very like very staccatoed and
let's get an example. Let's get an example.
I can't speak like European Portuguese.
No, try just any Portuguese for a while.
I have a hard time. I swear to God, I have a hard time understanding European Portuguese.
Well, just say, do you use some Portuguese?
What do you mean use some Portuguese?
Say some shit in Portuguese.
I'm not a fucking trained monkey. I don't perform for you.
Badly trained.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into this, okay? So I'm gonna do a brief overview.
Patrick, will you please say something in Portuguese?
Vai pra porra.
What was that? Papapo.
Vai pra porra.
What does that mean?
It's like the equivalent of
Give me like a
go to
sentence, not just like a.
What do you want me to say?
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying
The
that.
fuck, I don't know what's a common saying.
I've told you about this one. This is an idiom in Brazil.
Okay.
Caga na pia pra ser falado.
Oh yeah.
That's so someone who is very attention seeking. Ele caga na pia pra ser falado.
Okay.
That means he'll shit in the sink to be talked about.
That's fun.
It's a great idiom.
That is good.
I've kind of like I've thought on so many occasions about like bringing that here, like because you know, obviously working in bars, especially, you run into people who like they're just always like trying to get all the attention, just garner all the attention on themselves, and that's a great example of caga na pia pra ser falado.
That's pretty good.
You just say, yeah, that guy would shit in the sink for people to talk about him. Yeah. Or so people would talk about him, or something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to do a brief overview. So, our focus, because this is so big of a topic, right? And it's a topic that still exists today.
Are we going to say colonization part 1?
This is going to be colonization part 1. And it'll be like British monarchy, where it's separated by months. You know, it'll probably do 2 a year-ish. Like cryptids, like monarchy.
When's our next monarchy?
December.
Oh shit, it's coming up. It's been a while.
Is it December? I don't see it up there.
Long December.
It's somewhere up there. It's definitely on the list somewhere. Doesn't matter.
You know what's on my list?
There it is. I see it.
Your kiss. Your kiss. Your kiss.
So because it's still happening, it still exists today.
Oh, the world being a fuck?
colonized by armed forces from another place. Sort of taking over the government, and it'd be one thing if you were invited in, like Austria in the 40s. It was like, hey, it's okay, Germany, come on in.
Yeah.
It's a different thing when the people of that nation are like, no.
That's what I've always liked about vampires. Like there's like a...
You have to invite them in.
Yeah. Like, hey, you want to go...
At least they're polite about it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a good thing there.
But although they get sneaky.
Oh yeah, they
get sneaky
characters there.
So we're gonna focus on the continent, the African continent today. And this episode may even need another 1 or 2 addendums, because so many different European nations colonized Africa. And a lot of times today, when people think about the continent of Africa in general, they tend to view it as like the whole continent's just like the Maasai tribe,
Right,
it's just like people in grass huts on the savannah, just
I think
herding goats. And,
I don't know if that's necessarily the way it's the most popular thing. I think that Africa's looked at like James Cameron's Avatar, like very seriously. Like you've got the plains people, you got the mountain people, but they're all exotic and magical. Right. When
also, I'll take it a little bit deeper. But they've got all this shit that'll make us rich. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unobtainium.
So let's get over there with our fucking guns and our shit and fucking control.
What is that? Some kind of crazy stripy horse?
So we're going to do a quick overview, and then I'm going to get into some more specific stuff. So so obviously, as with anywhere else, the coast sort of gets discovered, quote unquote, first.
James Cameron's Africar.
With as with anywhere else, the coast gets discovered first, and then you kind of move inland from there, right? So the Portuguese originally were the first to explore the African coast. Obviously, if you know sort of the history of colonization, you know the history of Europe, particularly in the 14 and 1500s. That's when they were building a bunch of ships, and they were just sending them in every direction, right? That's when late 14, early 15s is when they're all through the Pacific. Japan was one of the last islands to be, again, quotations, discovered by the Europeans, which I guess is not a misnomer. It was discovered by Europeans. The Japanese had been there all along, but again, late 1400s is when the New World gets discovered by Europeans, et cetera, et cetera. So, and the Portuguese and the Dutch particularly were adept at building these giant ships that could traverse huge swaths of ocean.
Right.
And, conditions be damned, I guess, at that point. So the Portuguese were the first to discover and explore the African coast. And so initially they just came down from Portugal along the western coast of Africa and sort of set up some trading posts and stuff along the western coast of Africa. And then at some point they rounded the Cape of Good Hope, right? Now at this point, the Spice Road had already been established. And I think we've talked about this in previous episodes where the Spice Road was kind of like it wasn't a great route because it's real easy to be sort of waylaid by bandits.
Well, also, you're walking down the Spice Road, you just like kick some of the dirt up. It's pepper, gets into your eyes. You're at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's like, this smells so nice.
God forbid you take a right on Paprika Trail.
Yeah.
You can't even breathe.
Get chili flakes in your shit. Like, it's much worse than Gumdrop Lane.
No, the Spice Road was just you're traversing multiple different countries with different cultures, with different religions, with different beefs. And so
spice beef.
In the spice Mongolian beef.
That's one.
No, it didn't go all the way to Mongolia. Afghani beef?
Afghani beef.
No, it didn't go that far either. Turkish beef?
Turkey beef?
Yeah, you got to pass through Turkey to get to India.
Yeah.
Anyway, because of all these different things, like the Spice Road was, if you had the resources, you could get rich transporting spices back and forth. But if you didn't have the resources, you were just as likely to get fucking waylaid and murdered and taken for everything of value you had as you were to get back and strike it rich. You know what I mean? So after the Portuguese sort of got around the Cape of Good Hope and realized, you go around here, you go across here, and then you're in India. Hey, crazy. Obviously, the Portuguese at that point were setting up trading posts in India. But it wasn't long before they started looking at sort of the southeastern coast of Africa and looking at what potential riches they could get from there, right? And the thought was, they already knew at that point that Africa was rich in diamonds and emeralds and gold and all these things that were sort of arbitrarily given value in society, right?
Yeah.
Because it's shiny rocks.
Yeah,
right?
shiny rocks, yeah. That was our big point in what episode?
In a few episodes.
In a few episodes, yeah, like just fucking gold, unless you're using it for some sort of superconducting
electrical conductor,
like fucking Agartha ass machinery. Then like it's fucking worthless.
It has no value
unless you're using diamonds to make superconducting lenses that'll shoot a laser at the moon. There's no fucking reason for them
other
to be
than
worth
it just
anything.
looks pretty, right? So the Portuguese are already aware that there are all these riches in Africa, and they're like
so many shiny rocks.
And they're like, okay, so let's set some shit up over here in like the southeastern part of Africa, and we're gonna just be able to ship it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Unfortunately, that area of Africa was not as mineral rich as sort of if you go up into the Congo and some of the more inland, right? That at this point they had not explored inland, right? They're seeing Africa had very bustling trading posts. Like trade areas whenever the Portuguese arrived.
Massive coastline. People have been going up and down this coastline. The
Portuguese arrived and it wasn't just a bunch of grass huts and people just living day to day. They were trading.
Ridiculous Western like misconception that Africa was this just like misty, jungled, lost continent.
Right.
You know, from the mists of time until Tarzan's parents crashed on
with
the shit. all
with all the pygmies and
yeah,
the
exactly.
fucking,
And like
people with bones through their noses.
It is not inaccurate to say that there are thousands of disparate tribes and peoples and cultures that live on the fucking continent. The biggest continent on the planet Earth. Like, yeah, of course, there's a million different things, but the coastline specifically would have been a massive like travel and trading hub.
I mean, just as a super easy brief example, their whole concept of navigation, which the Portuguese were like in the European continent, like the preeminent navigators, they learned that from North Africans.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
the biggest thing that would separate Europe from like the African continent would be the deserts in North Africa,
right?
You know, like Egypt and fucking all that shit.
But I mean, if you go to Spain and Portugal, especially Mediterranean coast, Spain and Portugal, there are not only a ton of places, but a ton of actual, like the Portuguese language has a ton of words that are derived from Arabic.
Yeah,
because of sailors from North Africa that would go that would cross the I mean the whole we'll go back to the True Romance monologue by Dennis Hopper about the Sicilians and why they're dark skinned and yada yada yada. The Moors were sailing across the Mediterranean way earlier than most other people were.
Yeah, and it's often overlooked. And Shakespeare even wrote a whole fucking play about a specific Moor.
Yeah,
you know,
so.
That's Othello, if anyone was wondering.
So,
if you don't want to check out Othello by William Shakespeare,
you should have read Othello at this point.
Just check out the movie O.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know O is Othello?
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah, directed by Tim Blake Nelson.
Put it on your list, Danny. That's another one I haven't seen.
Oh.
So pretty quickly, though, they realized that this specific coast of Africa, you know that.
Did you know that it was directed by Tim Blake Nelson?
I don't even know who that is.
You ever see Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes.
He's the one who's like,
a little bit of it, not all of it.
We thought you was a toad.
Oh, okay, the one with the funny head. He looks like a Wallace and Gromit character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, they've been going down this western coast. They've been establishing themselves at trading posts because, again, this area is bustling, right? So they're seeing diamonds, they're seeing emeralds, they're seeing gold, they're seeing all this stuff.
They got diamonds on the soles of their shoes
at these big trading. At these big trading posts, and they're there trading and stuff. But I mean, it doesn't take very long to go, oh my God, where do you guys get this? That way, you know, like inland, we've got places where we get this stuff. We just dig it up right up out of the ground.
You know where it is? It's near the mountains where minerals wash down in deposits where people dig for minerals.
So
that's you fucking idiots.
So as they get around the Cape of Good Hope, which is where South Africa is, and around that end, they go, these people are much more docile. They don't have as much going on. You know, you're kind of in savannah land there, right?
I much prefer these savages.
It was less like even today, if you look at western coast of Africa, you know, that like where Nigeria is and all that stuff, like we have this tendency to believe that it's this, like they're living in the third world.
Yeah.
Nigeria has huge, like Lagos is like a big, bustling metropolis. Like they have a lot of industry.
There are massive, futuristic cities in Africa. Like,
when you get,
also, it's a like if anyone doesn't get this yet, it is a continent. Like it's a vast,
big continent,
vast area with millions upon millions of people. Yeah. It's like the disparate like cities, cultures, lands, languages, colors of people. There are multiple colors of people on this continent.
Yeah.
From the continent. I'm saying
mostly different shades of brown, the people who are hail from that area. But yeah. So they get around, and like I said, this is more savannah land. So this is a little bit more primitive because you've got people living in areas with fucking lions and you know,
tigers
leopards
and bears. Actually, not a lot of tigers in Africa.
No. That's
India.
Lions and leopards and cheetahs and, you know, like crocodiles
bears
and fucking
rhinos
crazy shit
and shit
and fucking giant great whites off the coast.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit more primitivism there, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, not to, I don't want to expound too much on like the misty paths of Africa, but like much like in North America and South America, you had like a very like you've got to kind of be in tune with the land sort of thing. A good portion of Africa had to be in tune with the wildlife specifically because it's
100%.
Well, because Africa has more dangerous predator animals than any other continent. So, I mean, like, you've got fucking shit will kill you all over the fucking place. So
100%.
the people of necessity become a little fleeter of foot, a little more nomadic, things like that.
They do have trading posts and whatnot in that area, but I mean, we're talking about like a little bit less. We're talking about a little more primitive than along the western coast.
Yeah.
So the Portuguese see this as an opportunity. We can set up our own trading posts and our own forts and our own this and our own that, and we can sort of from there control the resources in this area,
right?
Which is a tale that will go on for centuries in Africa, right? Like I said, pretty soon they realized that this area is not as mineral rich as they had hoped.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's one resource that they could.
There's one great resource there.
Yeah, I figured that's where this is about to go.
And it's people. And so by the 1500s, you see, and of course, if you've looked at European chattel slavery and the timeline of that, it lines up perfectly. Early 1500s. The Portuguese start shipping people out of there and selling them at slave markets in Europe, in Asia, in the New World, you name it, all through the Caribbean. This is the resource. This is where we're going to make the money, right?
Man, honestly, I have a hard time comprehending how one builds that framework. Just the sheer amount of like blood and violence and terror and subjugation required, but like. Nothing starts out with a bang ever. So like it was bit by bit. Like, you're gonna want to come over with us. But then after a certain point, it's like there has to be that like switch that's like, okay, well, we will just kill you.
So it wasn't obviously a new concept. At that point, you name any superpower throughout the history of what?
Green Lantern.
I didn't say superhero.
Dark Side. He's a bad guy. He wasn't a hero.
Jesus Christ. No, any consolidation, any civilization that was consolidating power throughout the history of mankind, the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, the Egyptians, you name it, slavery was not a new concept, right? And there were varying degrees of brutality. At this point, when the Portuguese get to Africa, slavery was primarily something you can go back to ancient Egypt where it was, you're a slave till you die. Sorry, build that fucking pyramid, please.
Yeah.
But at that point, it had sort of graduated to, yes, you are a slave, but serve well, and at some point you will probably be given some grace and some dignity and be able to sort of strike out on your own, right? Not with any money or anything. We'll let you go.
Yeah.
So I think in the 1500s, when sort of the era of slavery that we think about now started, it started from that place, but because European expansion, because of European colonization, because of all these new things that we're finding, right? Holy shit, pineapples, holy fuck, bananas, like all these things that are happening.
What up, dorks?
Hey, joining us in the studio, producer or Dr. Drew. We're not calling you Dr. Drew. Nurse Drew. Scrubs Drew. Hey, I heard we don't want no scrubs. No scrubs.
But because of all these things, sugarcane, stuff like that, all these things that we're discovering with expansionism, I think it sort of lent itself to fucking work them till they die.
Yeah.
Work them fucking bloody.
That's what I was talking about. Like, obviously, slavery has been a factor for a long time, but all
of human history, every fucking bit of human history.
Yes, but like the sheer,
including now,
but the industrialization of slavery in that level, like, okay, it starts out just like, get on the boat, we need you to work at this place, and then
didn't take long.
After a certain time, it's like there's blood in the water, like. And
within 100 years, it is this sort of the brutal enterprise that we understand it as today. So, Jesus, the rain is coming through in like sheets. It like stops and then it goes crazy. So, not just the Portuguese at this point, right? Now, throughout the continent of Africa, once the rest of Europe starts seeing the money to be made off of exporting people, the Spanish, the Dutch, the French, the British, everybody joins the party, right? And everybody starts setting up these forts on the coast along with trading hubs, which again, they existed already. It was not like, you're forcing your way in, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got big ass boats and cannons and shit like that.
Think about it like this. So here in Florida where we are,
Africans didn't have cannons.
Yeah, exactly. So like where we are in Florida, right? There's like a huge part of like the local topography and the political climate when the city was first founded in 1565 was the difficulties between the Spanish Catholics and the French Huguenots. Right. So like they would literally just any old like a French or Spanish settlement would just pop up any fucking where on the coast, and then they would just kill each other at some point. So the same sort of thing was happening all down the African coast, right? It's like
absolutely
any place that like these are all sovereign lands. They've got nations. They've got areas, even delineated borders in most contexts.
100%.
So fucking like a French ship just pulls up to, hey, look, this is a good part of the coast for us, and just fucking sets up shop,
force their way in,
right?
Use their their advanced weaponry at that point to get people the fuck out, and build a fort. And say, this is the trading post now. We're in control of it. And also, we'll go ahead and ship some people out of here.
Yeah, you're all subjects of the crown, so do as you're told.
And initially, this is the defense from a lot of people is that, well, Africans were selling other Africans, which is true.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's the what I always say to that is that is the dumbest fuck thing I've ever heard in my life. It is a continent. It is a goddamned continent. Africa is so much bigger than Europe. If you were to be like, if you were to say
double
like
plus
the French were selling the Germans, right? That would be that wouldn't be like, well, hey, white people selling white people. Right? It doesn't make fucking sense.
That was probably a thing at some point.
Of course,
the Normans were selling the fucking Hessians.
Africans sold Africans because the only people in the continent were Africans.
Africans were selling Africans because for the duration of human history up until that point, warring tribes would go at it, and whoever lost,
there you go. You're a slave.
The ones of you who survive are coming with us, and we're going to sell you into slavery. That's not right. Obviously, I'm not defending that, but this thing gets supercharged once the Europeans are on the continent. And by the way, my response to all of that is, if you've ever taken a simple fucking economics course, you know that there is no supply without demand.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, man,
So it would have never been supercharged had there never been a demand for, hey, instead of going over there and selling these slaves to this other tribe, bring them here to our big fort.
Yeah, we'll give you more
this
money.
Wood fort with the ship parked off the shore.
Yeah.
And we'll give you more money, and we'll ship them wherever the fuck we want.
And at a certain point, too, like, say, if you got a tribe that's really good at warring that can make a big profit from turning in slaves, I mean, well, fucking, yeah. But, like, the bold and extremely racist argument that fucking Africans are responsible for African slavery is so disgusting.
Yeah, we have no culpability. The Africans sold them to us. What we were supposed to do.
It is the gnarliest.
We just had all these slaves. We had to get rid of them.
It's the gnarliest, most racist shit possible, because it's also just...
It's a silly argument.
It's just saying that Africa was just one big blob of black people. Right. Well, it's fucked.
Yeah. Think of all the cans of Spam that you don't buy at the grocery store, right? Yet, if you don't buy them, then they stay at the grocery store. You never come home from the grocery store and go, oh my God, I got a shopping cart full of Spam. What am I going to do with all this?
How did all this Spam get here? No.
So
it's not my fault.
I mean, and so like I said, it did get supercharged. Like from the 1500s to the 1800s, millions, literal millions of Africans were shipped to all places, right? Again, this is going along with expansionism and colonialism from Europe, expanding out and just sort of getting as many territories as possible. I mean, the Spanish are going crazy in Central and South America. Portuguese are going crazy in South America. The British are going crazy in North America. And then once you get down into like from India, India, you've got a Portuguese and a British presence. And then beyond that, you've got Spain and England and Portugal down through the Pacific and everything. So the world was being sort of
a vampire.
And what do I want?
Slaves.
So the world is sort of being discovered by Europeans.
do you got?
What do you got? So, but in Africa proper, it was almost entirely coastal. There was very limited sort of inland penetration.
Yeah,
right?
I wanted to comment on that a little bit because, like, if you watch old black and white movies about like European colonization or like the white elephant hunters, hiring porters to fucking track them, it's always like the most decadent, lush jungle settings and shit like that.
Right.
Something interesting about colonialization or settling in general in most forested areas that people don't seem to understand is that you can't just fucking trek through the goddamn jungle.
No.
Like if there's not a trail or the knowledge of like you'll fucking die. Bugs, disease, fucking
disease was a major factor. Malaria was a huge factor.
And
just the geography was a huge factor. Also, the further they got inland, the harsher the resistance got, right? You've got harsher people living
harder
inland.
People live in harder areas.
Yeah. The more inland you go, the less people are, if you live coastally, especially when you're talking about hundreds of years ago, right? People who lived on the coast,
kicking them by the beach, fishing.
You got land animals, you got sea animals, you have more of a bounty, right? The further you get inland, especially on a continent like Africa, that shit gets real harsh real quick. And the people who are able to maintain in those areas are not fucking pushovers.
Yeah, and then you eventually break into the savannah. But that's a whole nother deal. Once you get into the savannah, it's a little simpler to get from place to place. But cutting through that coastal jungle would have been a nightmare. So that's why you have such major coastal cities all up and down. And then of course it pushes further over time, but the beginnings are almost all it's the story of every country
it's
that's
literally
colonized.
Still exists today. You look at a map of population density across the whole world. Yeah. People are population is more dense along the coastline.
Yeah, everywhere.
Always.
Yeah. Look at a map of America, like where's the highest population points are on the coast? Some of the
absolutely,
and then the lightest population points are in the western central,
right in
United
the middle,
States,
baby,
where it was hard to get to.
Yep,
that was it.
Yep.
It was hard to get to 200 years ago, and people still aren't fucking chilling there.
Yeah, no shit. So by the time we get into like the late 1700s, into the 1800s, you've got the Dutch in South Africa. They've got a huge settlement at the Cape of Good Hope. Later, obviously, the British take that, but you've got French colonies in sort of like where Algeria is right now. They sort of took that over in the 1830s. And a lot of this is, God damn it. It always happens this way, right? It's fucking mission work.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
It's spreading religion.
You colonize their souls, and then you can colonize their land.
These missionaries and explorers are coming like obviously, Dr. Livingstone, the David Livingstone, Mungo
Dr.
Park.
Livingstone, I presume.
Yeah, there were all these guys that came through, and they're mapping. They're explorers mapping stuff, but they're working out of missions. They're working out of areas where whichever one of these several European countries is sort of colonizing this area. They're sort of like a safe home base. Yeah. And they're kind of striking out from there.
There's an interesting factor, I think, in colonialism throughout all of history as well, is that in the church, whatever church you may be in, the church can do no wrong because it is the voice of God. Like that is very specific. So if the church is moving into an area to form a settlement, it's for the benefit of everyone around it. Like we're bringing literacy, we're bringing water, we're bringing, if nothing else, we're bringing salvation after death. Right. Which is fucking lame. But you know what I think sums up that exact action better than anything? Shakespeare said it in The Tempest. I think I've referenced this before, probably in the same fucking point of contention. But the magician Prospero has a demon that he enslaved when Prospero goes to this island. He finds this demon Caliban and he enslaves him, and then he educates him. He teaches him all this stuff.
Yes.
And Caliban says to him, "You gave me language, and all I can do is curse you with it." One of my all-time favorite quotes, but I think that sums up colonization real fucking well.
And in most cultures, even so, like particularly during colonization and expansionism, European expansionism, it was still taboo. Even if it wasn't your religion, it was still taboo. Like the concept of a holy man. Or a holy or a religious building.
Yeah, it's like shooting a medic in on the battlefield.
Right, exactly. It was still taboo. That is a holy man. That is their temple. Yeah, it's not ours, but
it's just
let's not fuck around and find out if they've got the right magic. You know what I mean?
They have magics that we don't understand.
Exactly.
Like let's not fuck with them. Yeah.
Exactly. So you've got all these explorers and missionaries and stuff. And so you start seeing a little bit more penetration inland, right? Obviously, by the mid 1800s, the slave trade gets abolished. Early 1800s, I think. When was it in Europe? I think the abolition of slavery was
like European chattel slave trade. Yeah.
Yes, was a little. It was not very much before. It was, obviously in the U.S. It was in the 1860s. It was a few decades before that, as far as Europe. So
I'm sure that embattled settlements in Africa had something to do with that. I mean, if you got a populace that is not so stoked about being enslaved all the goddamn time.
Oh yeah. There were a lot of uprisings and stuff. I mean,
that would be worth looking into. I think actually, like how the political climate in Africa helped end chattel slavery.
We're talking about almost 400 years from the Portuguese starting to colonize and start putting people on ships and shipping them across the world. We're talking about almost 400 years from then to when it was quote unquote illegal, right? Mm-hmm. So now you've got all of these European nations who have colonized entire swaths of Africa, right? In different areas of Africa.
Are you about to lose your voice like you did that one time?
I might be. For those of you who are not Patreon subscribers, I finished up a big project that Riley and I have referenced on the show a few times, a restaurant build out that we've been doing here in town. And we had to do some real dusty work getting through a concrete wall to open up the two dining areas to one another. And I was standing in there breathing concrete dust from, I don't know when that building was, like the 1950s.
Yeah,
I think
probably
is when that building was made. So I inhaled a lot of concrete dust over the course of an entire 9-hour day. And it
you sound
pretty much immediately.
You sound like Don LaFontaine right now. In a world. You fucking got the gravel in there.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, do it.
I just cleared my voice. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
In a world.
Not bad.
Where I'm losing my fucking voice.
Your enunciation was a little Trumpy in there.
Yeah, okay. Trumpy?
You were like, in a world.
I'm losing my voice. Everyone's saying it. So the trade, the
trade federation has the embargo on Nebu.
So the slave trade is done, right? By the mid 1800s, the slave trade's done. It's been abolished. You can't legally, not to say it wasn't still happening, you can't legally maneuver slaves, around the world anymore. So you've got all these European countries that have these big swaths of Africa, right?
Swaths of Africa, band name.
And now their biggest commodity is no longer a commodity. And so immediately the focus shifts from enslaving and shipping Africans to exploiting the raw materials and the trading markets in those areas that we control.
Now that we've pushed far enough inland, the minerals and shiny rocks are more superfluous.
Like I said, we're 400 years almost in, 350, 400 years.
Plus, I mean, we take a shipload of people out of here, put them in chains and try and take them to America, somebody will sink us. But if we just chain them here and put them in a pit here,
they'll still die.
But we'll get shiny rocks out of it. And maybe some elephant teeth. I'm sorry, it just occurred, I think about this all the time. The absolute fucking madness of seeing an elephant and being like, ooh, them pointy shits is fucking cool. I'm going to kill that. What the fuck is what is that? If there was a dog that had a diamond in its head, they would have just killed that dog and taken the diamond out of its head. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
This shit is insane. Whale oil, I understand because it's oil. It has a mechanical function as a product. Sure. But ivory?
Yeah, I want to take that big fucking bone sticking out of the front of its face and carve some weird relief into it.
Carve a whale into it.
Some Renaissance relief and carve a whale into it.
But marble is just as good, and there's plenty of marble.
There's lots of that in Africa. Yeah.
Marble has never been in scarcity. Why do you need to try and pull it out of the big smart animal's face?
because
it was cool and it looks fun.
Try and put yourself in the shoes of someone who has made the case in their mind and perhaps to other people for colonization.
Okay,
right?
I'm a big piece of shit. A big piece of shit. I beat my wife.
Yeah. Even though she's back home in England.
Yeah, I suck, and
or Portugal or Spain or France.
Jump off a bridge. I don't know. This is making me depressed.
Yeah. Once you've justified that, again, usually with Christianity as the
God wants these elephant face bones.
This is God would not have sent me here if it wasn't to.
God wouldn't have put
exert my dominance on this.
God wouldn't have put the diamond in the dog's head if I wasn't meant to kill the dog and take the diamond.
Well, I have cannons and guns and gunpowder.
I'm doing better than them.
These people have spears. Obviously, God favors me, and so he sent me here to quell these savages and use this land to whatever end I can, as long as at the end of the day I go, thanks, God.
Well, you guys know how I personally feel about that. Say it with me now. 1, 2, 3. Ain't no God.
I didn't know where you were going with that, so I couldn't form a chorus there.
If you didn't catch it the first time, rewind it and try and say it with me.
So by 1884, right, Otto von Bismarck, who is the German premier, I believe he was, he calls something called the Berlin Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Right at this point, there are so many European powers in Africa, and there are a lot of like border disputes and issues with who's got this and who's got that and what goes where and all this shit, right? And he says, listen, we've got to divide Africa up amongst us.
Of course.
Like us European powers, right?
The savages can't be trusted with their own land.
That way we know where our borders are. We can avoid conflict among ourselves, and we can we'll know who belongs where, right?
Plenty of diamonds to go around.
Just
I know the guy's German, but I'm doing like a villainous British accent.
In case you were wondering, there were no African leaders included in this Berlin Conference.
What?
So what we end up with is Britain has got Egypt, Sudan, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and Rhodesia, which ended up being current Zimbabwe and Zambia, right? France has got a big portion of West Africa, right? From Senegal to the Ivory Coast. They've also got French Equatorial Africa, which is modern Chad, Congo, and Gabon. And they've got the Isle of Madagascar.
Ah.
That was originally a French territory.
A fascinating island. I was supposed to...
Well, that was originally a Madagascar territory, and then it became a French territory.
My job on this episode was to research the colonization of Madagascar, and I biffed it.
It's okay.
I didn't study shit for fuck.
That's all right.
But I did discover that the day that I started studying Madagascar, the government of Madagascar dissolved.
Which is crazy. So I can't believe you didn't go down that rabbit hole.
I did go down that rabbit hole. It has a lot to do with contemporary youth rebellion.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this.
It does, of course, have a lot to do with this, but like in a hundreds of years context, you know, like if we want to talk about the initial colonization, yes, of course, it led to where we are now,
right?
Because of so many factors. But what it is really is an internet-based rebellion, like the rebellion in Tibet that happened recently, where the government buildings were burned down, and this is the whole thing. They were facing the same thing in Madagascar with a youth-led revolt leading against the government. And the government, instead of being like, we'll kill you, they were just like, okay, well, we quit. So there's not one now.
We're not prepared to deal with this. We're just going to...
Yeah, it's just like, okay, well, there you go.
It's all yours, guy.
They'll probably elect some people over Discord like they did in Tibet, and that's... and then in a couple of years, you know, we got the Discord wars.
Yeah, and then those kids will become horrible. So, okay, back to this. So Germany, like I mentioned, did I mention it earlier in this episode? Tanganyika. So they got Tanganyika, which became Tanzania. Also Namibia, Cameroon, and Togo. Belgium. Oh, fuck.
Belgium.
Anybody who knows anything about the history of the Congo and King Leopold II.
Oh, yeah. King Leopold. I think we've talked about him a little bit before. Didn't we dub him the world's biggest piece of shit?
He was a real piece of shit. So Belgium got the Congo Free State.
I'm King Leopold.
Congo got the Belgian Free State, which is very diamond mine heavy. Mm-hmm. King Leopold II turned that into basically, we don't need a ship slaves. We got them all right here. Like you said, a fucking brutal private colony for mining, very heavy-handed, iron-fisted mining colony. And like I said, if you know anything about the history of the Congo, to this day, De Beers, which is a Belgian company,
Beers
owns basically 90% of the diamond mines in this area of Africa. And if you don't know how much of a fucking scam diamonds are, you should really research that.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrifying.
Diamonds are not scarce. Diamonds are very easy to come by. Diamonds should not be priced the way that they are. The problem is that De Beers, a Belgian company, owns all of the diamond mines, and so they get to throttle up or down how much supply they let out.
Which, of course, leads to horrifying human atrocities.
Yeah. So
check out the movie Blood Diamond. I mean, it's not a great thing, but if you want to watch a very entertaining action movie with Jimon Hansu and Leonardo DiCaprio, and also learn a little bit about how fucking bad diamond mining in Africa
it's
is,
terrible.
Watch that.
Or a plethora of other movies.
Yeah, that movie also has some
lot.
child soldier stuff in it. You know,
There's a lot.
Then watch Hotel Rwanda, just for fun.
So, yeah, we can lab create diamonds now. So anybody who's listening who may think that one day they will be proposing or proposed to, don't buy a fucking diamond from Zales or Jared or any of these big those all come from De Beers almost entirely, exclusively. And De Beers is a fucking horrible. Just look into it.
Yeah, they're the worst.
In the words of every asshole on the internet, do your own research.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that they should, the people who run De Beers should be executed.
I will.
Oh, you want to say
should
it?
Be, yeah, the whole
The people behind De Beers should be fucking murdered.
Fucking drop a bunker buster on wherever they all are.
Hey, they have kids. I don't give a fuck.
You know what you have to do with the children of your enemies. We know what you have to do with the children of your enemies.
We've talked about this so many times.
You can't let them live to come back after you. You got to take them out. Sorry, kids.
They'll have all that diamond money. They'll grow up like be real bastards.
So we've also got Portugal, which maintains Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea-Bissau. We've got Italy with Eritrea, Somalia, and Libya. Ethiopia briefly. Spain's got a couple of spots, Equatorial Guinea, Western Sahara. And so that's basically how everything divvies out. Right. And that is most of the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
With the exception of some northern stuff, a little bit in the east, northeast, a little bit in the center. But for the most part, we've divvied up the entire continent.
Yeah.
Right. Amongst European, at this point, super nations. Right. Yeah. So, and it was all very colonial style rules, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, this goes all the way. Look at India, look at Thailand, Vietnam, the Philippines, all these countries, areas of China, anywhere in Eastern Europe. I mean, it just, some of these countries ruled directly, like the French, and I'm not going to give them any fucking like high fives on this, but they were a little bit more centralized in the way, like even if you go out to Vietnam, Vietnam's got some beautiful cities. What is Saigon now? Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi both have all this beautiful French architecture from when the French colonized, right? But they were a little more centralized. So they had, governors and politicians. They had sort of whoever the people in charge were from France.
They're trying to fully colonize.
They were there,
not just subjugate.
And they tried to assimilate, in this case in Africa, they tried to assimilate those Africans into French culture. And then you had, places like Britain that were much more indirect, where they used local leaders, like in the case of like South Africa and stuff like that. They would take people from there and go, basically, they're puppet,
right? Yeah,
and you're
puppet
in charge.
Governments are a big deal. Yeah,
you're in charge. It's under our authority.
And then you'd have like a British governor or somebody like that would be like the head. You'd be, there'd be like a British.
You'd sit in a fucking palace.
Yeah, there'd be a British head of state that's given some palatial manner.
Don't bother me.
And then that's where you get your fucking Hearts of Darkness, right?
Right. And then you did, like, if you tried to bother him, he'd be like, talk to him, Butu. He's in charge.
Yes.
So
if you guys haven't read Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, it is a quick fucking read, and I highly recommend it if you want to hear about the atrocities of puppet governments and and indirect resource theft.
If you want that, if that's what you want.
It's a good book, though.
Yes.
It's good.
And then, of course, we had that sort of direct rule, that indirect rule. And then we had, again, like we talked about with Belgium, just complete exploitation. Absolute extreme violence. Like I said, iron fist, forced labor. That was what the Congo was for, the last fucking 150 years or so. Even now it's that way. It's just the powers of control have changed a little bit. But so obviously over time we start getting some resistance. Do you remember, you might not be, I was pretty young and you're a few years younger than me. So do you remember the made for TV movie Shaka Zulu?
Yes, I do. I actually fucking love that movie. I've watched it.
Fucking incredible.
Dude, I watched it recently.
Really?
Yeah, you can find it on Tubi.
I remember when that shit was coming out. Like when it was every week, good. It was like the next part of Shaka Zulu. And my mom loved it.
You, any younger people listening might not remember this, but there was a time in the 90s where most of America was really concerned with the history of all of the cultures that make up our nation, and trying to find like a historical equality and a level of education between all of us.
That was like early 90s.
Yeah, it was fucking Captain Planet time, and it was actually a wonderful time to be a child in many respects, because you didn't realize how fucking bad it was gonna be.
So the Zulu nation went to war against the British in South Africa.
Yeah, their leader, Africa Bambaataa. That was a bad joke, but yeah.
That was a terrible joke.
Sorry. There's a band, okay?
Africa Bambaataa? I thought that was just
Africa
a guy.
Bambaataa was just a guy, and then his band was the Zulu Nation.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. I wasn't just being racist. My wife, one of the things that she does not really stand for is when I compare her to like black musicians. You know, because like her hair will be a certain way, and I'll be like, Diana Ross, and she'll be like, shut the fuck up, right? One particular time,
what's up, Erykah Badu?
Yeah, exactly. It just fucking, it's not. I think one time she was wearing like a sparkly dress, like a brown sparkly dress, and I was like, Tina Turner, and it's like these are all on point observations. I'm not fucking just being a racist for fun. I'm like,
I see you dancing across the living room going do 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 do. I was rolling on the river.
Yeah, I got it. Rolling. But one time she was wearing like overalls, and she was wearing a red and black sweater under it. It looked very 90s. It had a very fucking like kind of a, I'm not gonna name any shows from that time period, but the red and the green and the overalls was a pretty standard outfit for Africa Bambaataa. And she looked at, I looked at her, I was like, hey, Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. And she looked at me like, I have told you, never fucking compare me to black musicians. And I was like, hold on, I'm not. First off, he's a dude. Secondly, it's your outfit, not you. Okay? Those are signature colors. And she didn't care. I was still in trouble for a while.
Oh my God. Anyway, the Zulus had a pretty strong resistance against the English in South Africa. Mm-hmm. We also had the Modest State it's Mahdist, not Modest.
Like Modest Yahoo.
Yeah. He's not an over the top Yahoo. He's just a modest Yahoo. The Modest State in Sudan versus.
Oh, for the Mahdi. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Versus,
I'm not making the joke there. It's the Mahdi was like
that wasn't a Dune joke.
No, that Dune takes that from the Mahdis.
Yeah, a lot of Dune is about exploitation. It's basically a whole metaphor for exploitation.
Yeah, exactly.
Of Africa.
So I mean, like Herbert made up a lot of words like the Quidasadrach shit, but like the Mahdis, that's a leader. Yeah.
The entire, in case you are a Dune fan and you don't know, the entirety of that movie is about resource exploitation on a foreign planet, but it was a metaphor for the Europeans exploiting resources in Africa. You're welcome. So yeah, the Modest State in Sudan fought against British and Egyptian forces that were sort of, I think Britain never held Egypt, but there was like it was like a homie.
Yeah. Well, that was like, what were we talking about with the Kim Philby episode? Or Saint
Crazy Man, Boring Man, Crazy Life.
Boring Man, Crazy Life. Was it not Saint George Philby, Saint
St. John.
St. John Philby.
St. John Philby.
St. John
Explorer.
Philby. Explorer and author. He was like somebody who would be sent in to live with the Bedouin.
Yeah.
And find their way into the political spectrum as an advisor.
I think
same with Lawrence of Arabia, D.H. Lawrence.
Uh-huh. I think the only reason why the British did not attempt to conquer Egypt is that I think that there was
you can't do anything. It's fucking sand.
Well, no, it's not even that. I think there was a bit of reverence in terms of how ancient that culture was, particularly with these giant pyramids and stuff. I mean, think about it now. We have structures now that make the pyramids pale in comparison to, right? But like, think about at that time, seeing the Great Pyramids at Giza, seeing the Sphinx. So you'd be fucking floored. What's funny is that Sudan has pyramids that are smaller but older than Egypt.
Yeah.
So,
well, the film Lawrence of Arabia is a personal favorite of mine. It's really beautiful in general, just a fantastic movie. But it really explores what it's like for, the British had these little spots in cities where they'd have their consulates, right?
Yeah,
and then you'd have Ponce, the Brits being, so find those filthy Bedouins and find the secrets to their oasis, and they would dispatch one British person to go pull that off somehow.
Yeah.
So like it's these consistently moving nomadic tribes in a shifting, markless sea of sand that will kill you in 2 days unless you are absolutely sure where you're going.
It's funny you should mention nomadic tribes sort of finding their own place, because we're about to get to the one African nation that actually successfully resisted colonization was Ethiopia. Under Menelik II, defeated Italy in the Battle of Adwa in 1896. That was the only, out of all of the countries that were sort of, call it what it is, gifted to European nations under that Berlin Conference, Ethiopia was the only one that fought back and won. The other African nation that was never under colonial rule was Liberia, which was founded by free African Americans, or it says freed African Americans. I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think that's accurate either.
Free Africans, free Africans, who sort of went and went to this area of Liberia and said, "This is ours. This is where we're starting our own."
Are we fucking that up? Was it founded by free African Americans?
I don't know. We can put in a little Jeopardy music here.
Dude, you keep talking. I want to look something up.
Well, I don't want to keep talking because that's pertinent.
Liberia was founded in 1822 as an outpost for returning freed slaves from the Americas.
Wow.
It grew into a colony and eventually became a commonwealth and achieved independence in 1847 with the help of the American Colonization Society.
So I did type that out, right?
A private organization based in the United States.
Interesting.
That's fucking cool.
But they were never under colonial rule at all. So they never had to fight.
They didn't fucking exist until 1822.
Yeah. So they, unlike the Ethiopians, not that there's any, they had their own fucking journey, obviously becoming slaves and then being slaves for a long time and then getting freed and then coming back to Africa and starting their whole fucking country. That's a different fucking battle.
We should be really fucking clear about this too. A lot of the nations that we're referencing, a lot of the countries that we're talking about have consistently been under different names in different divisions. A lot of the areas in Africa at the time of colonization were essentially unnamed unless you were a member of the different tribes in the area. Right. The shifting sands of fucking history.
Africa still has countries with numerous countries with border disputes and things like that.
I think there's a lot. As far as I believe, Chad recently underwent some big disputes because some of the cultures in the area delineate one particular border and others delineate another one.
Right.
In an endless fucking jungle or savanna, it's really dumb to fucking be like, oh, this is the border. I'm not going to hunt over here because those aren't my people.
Well, and also, when you look at examples like the Maasai tribe, how do you, and not just the Maasai, there are multiple tribes that still live pretty primitively in Africa. How do you even explain that concept to them? How do you even say
yeah, you can't go over there anymore.
You can go up to here. Just imagine there's a line here, okay? Just imagine there's a line. You can't go, the Maasai, usually they have big herds of cattle.
Yeah.
You can't bring your cattle past that line.
They'll be like, but that's where they drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can't now. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to.
They ate all the grass here, so we're going to bring them over there to eat all that grass while this grass regrows, idiot.
Exactly. So like
What are you talking about line?
when
Like imagine being like living as primitively as they do and being like, what? We've been doing this for centuries. What the fuck?
Who are you?
What is this line? I don't see a line.
You don't live here. I
don't
here.
see a line. What line are you talking about?
A map. What's a map?
Yeah. They ate this grass. Now they need to eat that grass so this grass can grow back. And then they'll come back over here and then that grass will grow back. And they go back and yeah, but there's a line now. What?
Yeah. Okay. This map isn't a thing.
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Yeah. What the fuck is this? I'm not a bird. What am I, some kind of fucking space bird?
How did you get up there? How do you see this? Where are we? Is there like a star that says you are here with an arrow?
Right. I think it was maybe a Patreon with Brian. We were talking about, the lens that you have when you're living in society, right? Like the way that people look at rules and the perception of the world.
Sure.
When the way that you were raised,
we were just having a pretty in-depth conversation about this sort of before we started recording.
Right. So like the way that
there are so many things that determine that translator in your brain.
Yeah.
Right. So many of how you grew up, what your parents were like, what attachment style you have, what your fucking tolerance threshold is, what abandonment issues you have, what fucking traumas you've experienced in your life. There are so many things that affect this little translator that is your brain.
Your upbringing, whether or not you've lived in wealth or poverty, if you always you've had consistent source of food or familial affection, or if you're an only child, like all these things.
Safe to say, no two people really truly translate their reality, their surroundings.
People may agree. I think it's safe to say, though, that anyone who's listening to this podcast probably sees things from the lens of modern, contemporary Western society.
Yes,
right?
I would say that's...
unless you're one of our many international listeners, in which case, cool.
They're still listening to this via the internet.
Yes,
so, I mean,
exactly.
That's a pretty...
But if you can...
Pretty modern luxury.
Okay, so do you remember, if you guys remember at all, when we were talking about the Underground Railroad, and I said... to picture like the idea of slaves escaping on the Underground Railroad, tilt the map so that the eastern coast of the United States is in front of you, and that makes freedom left and slavery right. Right. So like if you can look past the idea of like the map is cut up into these things and think of it instead as this massive cohesive living organism, then you can start to understand a little bit more about how difficult it is to organize things in such a vast area like that. Especially, cut apart by miles and miles and miles of jungle. Yeah. There are tribes in Africa that would never contact another tribe. Ever. Like that's...
Think about, so Africa is as geographically diverse as the United States in terms of...
hot, cold, swamp, mountain, desert.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd say probably not a ton of cold, but
probably not. But
swamp,
maybe up a mountain,
swamp, desert, forest, mountains. It's unless you have the proper tools, it is not navigable. Also, throw into the mix a bunch of big ass crazy animals that will fucking kill you.
Yeah. There are fewer of those in the United States.
We got some.
We got mountain lions. We got bears.
Yeah.
Alligators.
We got moose.
Yeah, moose.
I mean, you piss off an elephant, it's gonna fucking trample your ass.
Yeah, so. But I mean, how many can we list off that would kill you in Africa?
What animal kills more people in the world per year than any other animal?
It's the hippopotamus.
It is. Are they herbivores or carnivores?
They're herbivores.
They are.
They kill from hate.
So they do. They kill because they're territorial.
Yeah.
So I mean, moose. A moose will fuck you up real hard.
Moose will kill the shit out of you. Like, don't get me wrong. But they're also kind of hard to come by. You know what I mean? If you...
Buffalo?
If you're hunting on the plains, lions, not hard to come by.
No.
They out there. They're looking at you.
No. Well, have you ever seen any of the videos of like, I don't think it's the Maasai tribe. It's another tribe.
Oh, the guys that just walk right up to the fucking lions?
Walk right up to their kills and take the fucking meat from like a fresh kill.
That's that series I love, Human Planet.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, these guys will straight up just like walk up to a pack of lions eating their kill.
Yeah.
And chill for a second and look at them, and the lions, you can see in the lion's face, they're like, don't fucking come over here.
Yeah.
Don't fucking
And they
come.
just make themselves real big and walk up.
Kinda. They more like stand up really directly and go right for them at like an even pace. And the lions fuck off. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah, they back the fuck off, and then they'll carve off some meat from a fresh kill.
Yeah, it's all confident. They'll
zebra
just
or
hack
gazelle
a
or
leg,
whatever.
and then they walk off.
And then they fuck off, and then the lions come back and eat.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine the fucking balls.
Yeah, imagine the first people that were like, well, we'll just fucking walk up to them and take that shit.
Imagine the fucking solid steel clackers you've got between your fucking legs dangling down to your ankles to be like, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 lions? Yeah, I got this. Tony, you come with me. Just the two of us. We'll do it.
There are multiple tribes in Africa where it's like killing a lion with a spear is like a rite of passage.
Yeah, which is why I don't respect anyone who goes on like a safari hunt and kills
go fuck yourself.
Kills, what is it? The big 5, right? It's
lion,
leopard,
rhino,
lion, leopard, elephant. Is cheetah in there?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think cheetah is one of them. Rhino. I think rhino might be one of them. Yeah.
But good job, big game hunters. You
with a
killed them
fucking
all.
with a high powered rifle from 300 yards. Are you
go fuck
fucking
yourself.
kidding me?
Yeah. Firstly,
put your 30-06 down, grab a fucking knife, and be a goddamn man.
You
want to kill that thing? I don't want to. And I can say that because I have no desire to kill a lion.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, that thing is magic.
Yeah.
That is a magical creature.
They're like gods. They're like truly like animals like that are like gods to me, in my opinion.
And like, I can't understand being like, oh, look at that thing. I want to kill it.
I will say there is a certain mindset where if you were going to kill and eat a lion, it would be guilt-free because they do the same thing to you. I can see that. There's probably less guilt attached to that than a cow. Cow wouldn't do shit to you.
If I were to kill a lion, I would 100% eat it. If I were to kill a lion, I would also do it on even ground, not from 300 yards with a 30-06.
In which case it would eat the shit out of you.
In my mind,
I could take them.
In my mind, there's no difference between that and a colonial attitude, which is I've got better weaponry. So exactly. God must like me better. So it is my prerogative if I want to kill this thing.
Speaking as like a carnivore, like I eat animals that I would consider perfectly innocent, and it's a horrible process, and I don't feel great about it. But like as my hero Jane Goodall taught me, you got to look at what the perspective of these animals can be as opposed to the way you're seeing them.
Right.
Like I don't think the lion feels like it's doing something bad by killing and eating something.
I would feel less bad if not for the commercialization of the meat industry.
Yeah, I think we should all be allowed to raise cows and love them and then
shoot them
and then eat them. Kill them with a hammer.
Kill him with a hammer?
Yeah, it's the law. You gotta feel real bad.
Yeah. A shotgun blast to the face.
What? Oh.
Right between the eyes.
It's like, I'm sorry, moo boy, I love you. Clang, clang.
Okay, so we gotta get back in on this. So by the early to mid 1900s, basically ending when World War II ended in 1945, you start to see this consolidation in Africa, right? Between both world wars, European armies conscripted Africans into their ranks. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know what conscription is, that's a draft. That's you don't have any choice. Yeah. You're a soldier now, right?
Being pressed, yeah.
So between World War I and World War II, you had African soldiers fighting in Europe against Axis powers, right?
Right.
Between those two wars, that really weakened the colonial powers because obviously they're spending all this money and motherfuckers are getting killed. There's a lot going on in Europe. There isn't as much time and resources and effort and stuff to put into these colonies that are thousands of miles away, right? Oh. Which, of course, inspires a lot of calls for independence in Africa. And so you start seeing by like 1914, these economies that had Africa integrated, they just can't keep up anymore. And as the people are saying, you know what? Like, you guys are forcing our labor. You're forcing us into labor for, all these fucking cash crops and shit. Cotton was a big thing in Africa as well as in America. Cocoa was a big thing. Peanuts were a big thing. And you're forcing us into labor for all these cash crops that you're exporting out of here. So we don't even have that. And that's on top of all the resource extraction, you know, like I said, gold, copper, diamonds, emeralds, rubber was a big thing.
Yeah, rubber is a huge thing.
Yeah.
The rubber industry was brutal.
Exactly. Both there and in South America.
Because they would process the rubber there too, and just like chop the tree. They'd like process it in the offset of rubber gases when they're being processed. It caused fucking awful like respiratory illnesses and shit. And like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Really, really bad. That's like one of the, we could go down a whole fucking thing with the rubber industry.
And we talked about it in, what was the name of the episode? Undiscovered Tribes.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Is that what we called it?
Undiscovered Tribes. No, it was Lost Tribes? Undiscovered Tribes. Yeah.
Was it? Drew, do you remember? What do we call the tribes? Uncontacted tribes.
Uncontacted.
There it is. We talked about clear cutting rubber trees in uncontacted tribes. And that's another big thing is like once you clear cut these trees, it takes a long time for them to grow back again. So
also the African rubber farming is also one of the earlier
band name.
Ooh, African rubber farming. Dirty. But it's also like an early example of how mass pollution can be really detrimental to an area.
Yeah.
Because not only were you clear cutting, they're also doing like offsetting these gases and creating these weird byproducts.
God.
And then it just fucking throw them in the woods.
Talk about just like devastating like centuries of fucking nature.
Yeah.
You know, just being like to exploit it for fucking profit.
Well, good thing everything's better now.
So by 1945.
I'm sorry. I'm just ticks.
By 1945, with the end of the Second World War, all these colonial powers were just not in a place to really hold these colonies, right? And between that and them not being able to really actively govern, heavy-handed or no, they were not able to actively govern. And people saying, we should be independent. We need you guys the fuck out of here. Like this is not okay anymore. You're taking our people to wars in Europe that we have no fucking desire to be in. Like there's just all these things sort of culminating. So by 1945, we reach this sort of era of decolonization and of decolonization. Like I said, rising African nationalism, weakened European states, all these independence movements. It wasn't until 1957 that the first sub-Saharan colony in Africa gained independence. That was Ghana. 1957. My parents were already born.
The first sub-Saharan.
The first sub-Saharan to gain its independence.
Jesus.
By the mid-60s. So again, not that fucking long ago, bro.
Do you think there are
60 years ago.
Do you think there are any sandwich shops in like Ghana called sub-Saharan?
That's a terrible joke.
I mean, a joke to you, an opportunity to some. You can have that one for free.
By the mid-60s, most African nations were granted independence. From the 1970s to the 90s, the Portuguese refused to relinquish.
Classic.
Yeah, no shit, right? Angola, Mozambique. Mozambique, which, by the way, if you recall, our Yasuke Black Samurai episode, a lot of evidence points to him coming from that area of Africa, that southeastern part of Africa, and being taken up to Angola, I think, before being traded across to the Arabian Peninsula, where like Saudi Arabia and everything is, being conscripted into service there before that fucking fancy schmancy priest ended up buying him, purchasing him. And
that reminds me, I never finished Assassin's Creed Shadows.
No, I'm sorry. So yeah, the Portuguese colonies.
It's not your fault, man. Those fucking Assassin's Creed games are like 300 hours long. They're insane.
So the Portuguese colonies were Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea-Bissau. They fought really long, drawn-out fucking wars for independence against the Portuguese. And that was all the way into the 90s, the 1990s, right? Zimbabwe got its independence in 1980. Namibia got its independence in 1990. Last but not least, baby, South Africa, end of apartheid, 1994.
Yeah. And
that was sort of like the final big milestone for Africa.
What do they call the country in South Africa?
What do you mean?
They call that something else, right?
Who?
The South African country. They just call it South Africa?
I think, are you talking about like indigenous
Like the
Africans?
country of South Africa.
I think they just call it South Africa.
I thought it was something else. Must be some kind of Mandela effect. God, you're just placating little fucking chuckles are terrible today because your voice is going. So you're just like,
my voice is going out. Yeah. But here's the big clencher.
I need
right?
a fucking dumb guest to laugh harder at my fucking stupid jokes.
Here's the really fucking shitty clincher. Most of these countries, after they were vacated by these colonizing powers, Belgium, for example, they maintain the powers of control over the resources.
Yeah.
Right? So sure, you can have your independence.
You can have your government, but we still own this land.
But this land where all the diamonds come from, I mean, look at how much money we put into it.
Are we just going to give it back?
Jesus. And that's like what I think we talked about it in COINTELPRO. No. We talked about it in MK Ultra. The guy in Africa who had won an election after the British pulled out of there, Patrice Lumumba, right? He was a big proponent of nationalizing our resources. In other words, you got this wealth, you got this land that you are perpetually making millions, if not billions of dollars off of through this sort of exploitative. You came in, you took over, you seized the means of fucking production, you seized all the wealth, and then you said, okay, fine, you can have your country back, but we're keeping the wealth.
Yeah, you can't have any of your shit. You can have the idea.
You can have your country minus all the shit that makes it worth a fuck.
You can have the idea of your country back. We'll give you back the intellectual property of your country.
And that is really the travesty when you look at the entire African continent. And anybody who goes, oh, they're fucking third world and they can't get their shit together and this and that and the other thing. I mean, think about how long it took. If you've listened to this podcast for any duration of time, you know how long it was between when the U.S. became an independent nation in 1783 when they won the war, the Revolutionary War. How long it took before they got their shit together. I mean, especially looking at westward expansion, all these things. I mean, you could just fucking kill people.
Dude, the United States of America got its shit together in 1943.
In the 40s.
Like that was that
in the 40s.
And then lost it again in 1987.
Yeah, it was not until the 40s that, I mean, there was a lot of Wild West mentality throughout the country. And there still is a little bit to some degree, but I mean, there's more
like Wiki Wild West.
Oh, God damn it. There's still more sort of,
That was a throwback.
There's more oversight now. So you can't, like a cop can't just gun down someone in the street and be like, huh.
Okay.
As soon as I said it, I was like, I'm going to get some pushback on this one.
I mean, what you're saying is that there are things that say they can't do that.
Yes. Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Before it was just like, oh, what did Officer so-and-so say?
That is, again,
okay, we'll go with that.
That is, again, maybe attribute this to a lot. The intellectual property of like cops not being able to gun people down.
Right.
That is verifiable. The IP, bam, right there. Actuality might differ lightly.
Even then, it's still an ongoing experiment. So if your country just gained its independence 40 years ago, 30 something years ago, 60 years ago, how still in the process are you of figuring shit out? Especially when like they pulled out and it was like, okay, all yours.
There's that great interview from I want to say the early 90s, Louis Farrakhan and Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes. You know what I'm talking about? I'm
familiar with the interview. I don't.
Yeah, Mike Wallace is just saying, I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe it was Liberia. I don't know what African country Mike Wallace is questioning Louis Farrakhan about. But he's like, it is a brutal dictatorship. It is an abuse of human rights. It is a savage and like awful place. And Louis Farrakhan's like, Mr. Wallace, you're talking about a nation that gained its independence from hundreds of years of slavery and colonization 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We have had 20 years to reformat all of the horrifying genocides and crimes and everything imparted on us.
And by the way, there was still interference. I mean, look at MK Ultra. Look at Patrice Lumumba. There was still interference. There was still, this guy is talking about consolidating the wealth of his nation and kicking out people who have, you know, European countries who have interests there. Well, how the fuck did they get the interests?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now you're labeling this person an enemy because they want to go, these resources exist in our country. We should be in control of them.
Yeah.
Not this fucking one corporation from who the fuck knows where. Like, this is our shit on our land.
Yeah.
Fuck off. And then the CIA goes, oop,
we need that stuff.
That's a no-go. Sorry.
We're going to have that.
We're going to have to kill that guy.
Yep.
And the only reason that the CIA did not kill Lumumba is because there was still a large degree of political strife and he was killed by someone else.
Yeah.
You know, from an opposing political party. So
should we do an episode on just CIA assassinations? Because they pop up like the shit we talked about like over the past year. How many, like 4 CIA assassinations just kind of like popped into the midst?
Assassinations. I don't know how many we've talked about specifically.
There's Lumumba. Or not Lumumba.
Well, they didn't assassinate. There was Arbenz, but he wasn't killed. He was just.
There's the guy in.
Arbenz said, okay, in what was that, Guatemala?
Yeah.
Arbenz just said, okay, fine, and he relinquished control to CIA funded coup.
MK Ultra. Was this an FBI one? The guy got tossed out the window.
That was CIA.
That's CIA. We would always talk about Che Guevara. Che Guevara, fucking the prime example of CIA.
That'll be a Revolutionaries episode.
Yeah, personal favorite. Yeah, I mean, they just pop up here and there. I mean, arguably Kennedy.
There's some evidence to that theory. Anytime I hear someone sort of talking shit about any specific African country or the continent in general, I bristle a little bit because I'm like, you clearly don't know how much that fucking continent was. I mean, more so than any other continent in this world, exploited to the point of how, how do you put a timeline on what it's going to take to get back to functional?
Well, in American
much less any sort of utopia, just functional.
In American political discourse in the past couple of years, we've heard the term shithole countries like bopped around a few times.
Yep.
I think we would be very, very hard pressed to find a single nation on earth that is in complete economic despair or just generally don't have their shit together, that have not been fucked with by somebody in some way.
Yeah. And possibly still being
exactly, like consistently being fucked with some financially or physically. Yeah.
In the case of a lot of the resources that exist on the continent of Africa still being in the hands of, look at someone like Elon Musk.
No.
How did he get his wealth?
Oh, he was an apartheid baby.
He was an apartheid baby whose father owned emerald mines in South Africa.
Johnny Rocks.
Why does a Dutch guy own emerald mines in South Africa?
Government grant or family legacy?
Because option B.
Yeah, but like take it down there. I mean, like probably, three generations, maybe 4.
Government grant, maybe when the Dutch were still in control of South Africa.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. The Dutch government might have said, okay, you can have
that's
these.
What I'm saying. Like, so like the Dutch government would still have lease on varying properties.
Right.
So they might give a contract to somebody to work on those and maintain wealth from there.
And then the British take over. And then what's this contract? I don't know. But the guys who were here before you told me that these were mine.
Yeah. So there. And they're like, oh, I guess they're his. Fuck.
And then, what? Fucking 94. What was that? 30 years ago?
Yep.
31 years ago. 31 years ago. The people of South Africa were given their independence to form their own government and govern however they wanted. That's, dude, it's if you can listen to that sort of, if you can hear that.
I think 21 years ago.
31.
31?
I said 31.
Fucking Elon Musk was 23 years old when that happened.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
it's not like he was just like a baby.
No. If you can hear that sort of, breakdown of events and go, yeah, that's totally fair, then I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you.
You're a stupid asshole. That's what it is. If you can look at the breakdown of historical events where we specifically say like genocide, enslavement, subjugation, theft, murder, and just be like, yeah, that's how things are supposed to be. Well, then something bad has happened to you, man.
In events like this, I try to use the house metaphor, right?
Yeah.
You own a house. Behind your house, you have a garden, a large garden where you grow all your food, and you have chickens and cattle and pigs. And, you don't go to the grocery store. You grow all your vegetables in your garden. You have all your meat and whatnot they're on your property, right?
Right.
You have a neighbor who's got just an entire arsenal of weapons and a bunch of little asshole kids that can carry those weapons. And they come over and they say, we're taking this whole fucking house. This whole property is ours. And then they spend 10 years in your house while you and your family try and figure the shit out. You're sleeping in a tent and they let you. You're sleeping in a tent in the front yard.
Right.
But they're slaughtering your animals, and they're taking your food out of the garden, and they're eating it, and they're giving you the scraps. Whatever's left over. Here you go. Take it back to your tent, fucker. And then after you protest enough, and after all the fights and all the fucking, whatever violence might occur, probably some of your family members getting gunned down, all these things occur over those 10 years. And then finally they go, you know what? We have a house next door. You can have this house back. But we're keeping the fucking garden and we're keeping all the animals. What person would not feel that a fucking grave injustice was done to them?
Right.
So apply that metaphor to the entire continent of Africa, right? You can't, maybe you can, I can't listen to that series of events and say, yeah, well, that's just the way it goes.
There are plenty of people out there that would say, well, they had the guns, like they had the weapons, so might is right. Nietzsche is the fucking might is right guy,
Yeah.
or was I Carl Jung? The world is will. Is that Nietzsche? Fuck, one of these fucking philosopher guys. But like the idea that like in a world without in a world of moral absolutism where there's no such thing as good and evil, then the only driving force that is virtuous is force.
Is who's willing to be more violent.
And so we live in a society where we're all taught a certain moral code that is based on the realistic needs of human beings. And then on another end of the spectrum, there's corporations and governments that work in a purely like Nietzschean format that's like, well, we have the means to take what you have,
right,
and that is a virtue for us, So it's like it's two completely opposite dichotomic philosophies.
It is, and I'll tell you how you bridge those two, right? We have the might, we have the means.
We have the meats.
We have the might and the means to take this over, and then once the world catches up and there's a moral outcry for, you can't do that, dude. Then now all of a sudden you draft all the paperwork and all the legalese bullshit to say, fine, you can have your house back, going back to my metaphor, you can have your house back, but we've earned this.
Yeah.
And look, we've got these documents. We've got all this. Yeah, this is our.
You can't take our hard-earned stuff.
We've been tending this garden.
What are you, some kind of monster?
Yeah, we've been tending this garden for 10 years. We've been delivering all the cattle, the calves and the piglets, and putting chicken eggs under incubators and all this. We've put a lot of work into this. We put a lot of money into this. Can't just have it back now.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's the metaphor.
And that's where you bridge those two things. Is that once the outcry happens, where it's like you did this in a real fucked up way, that's not cool. Then you get out. Then you do the legal maneuvers.
We're living in the society by the rules. We're doing this right.
Yeah.
We got the documentation.
Yeah.
Do you have any documentation?
You do all the legal maneuvers to say, well, okay, fine, you can have this back, but
in that respect,
but this is ours.
Then your neighbors that have your shit, they're then living within the moral confines of the society that you are living in. They're like, we're doing this right. We're doing this properly the way you should be.
Yeah.
but never forget that they still have those weapons.
Yeah. Essentially, yes.
Yeah. And that's well, thank you guys for tuning in. This is
That's why, I mean, you still see a lot of fucking turmoil in South Africa because of, Dutch Afrikaners that still 30 years later are going, we turn the government back over to the people from here, and now they're being mean to us.
quick impersonation. South African Terminator. Ready? Afrikaners. Can we wrap this shit up?
My therapist is from South Africa, and I frequently listen to her speak and go, and she's white, and I frequently am listening to her speak to me, and I'm like I try. It's a literal like thing in my brain where I'm like, don't make it political.
Yeah, don't.
Because she's great.
Right.
But I'm like, don't make it political. But like you've benefited so much from so many things.
When I was bartending, my mentor, this guy, maybe I shouldn't say his name. Nobody gives a fuck. Quentin. His name was Quentin.
Yeah.
And
South Africa, yeah.
South African guy. And I like Quentin. I like Quentin quite a bit. Very charming, good looking guy,
Mm-hmm.
He'd always be like, come on, man, you need to add more bitters, man. It's got to be sweeter. You need balance, man. And he was a cool dude to work with. But he said that he was just all white. And Quentin,
he would say that I'm all white.
Yeah, he stated many times that he's South African. He's Dutch.
Yeah, he's Dutch.
And if anyone
Dutch
ever asked, he would deny any sort of like African heritage in that respect. Like no black blood, right? But that guy,
woof.
If you look at his fucking face, you're just like, dude,
somebody slipped in there somewhere.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Somebody
here.
slipped in there.
But like, you've got a grandfather, somewhere that's like, there's no.
You got a great somewhere in there.
He's real good looking, But god damn, dude, it's the palest black man I've ever seen.
And you're like an octoroon or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what fucking. All right, well. Jesus, we never even got into specifically the Portuguese. I was going to get into the Portuguese conquest.
Portugal.
We were very conversational today.
Yeah, Portuguese, filthy people.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm several generations removed. Many generations.
Yeah, quite conversational today, but I think we hit some good points. I would like to actually in the future here, maybe like bop African country to country and just like do little rundowns on some stuff.
That could be fun.
Maybe cover Africa a little more. We do so much America.
Yeah.
Maybe
we've done a lot of Central. We've done.
What if we
a lot of
the Central America and
we've done a lot of Central and South. We've done.
What if we did like added a little something where we might do like a country breakdown real quick?
This is our first episode really focused on Africa. I know in Yasuke we talked about his roots.
Yeah,
coming from Africa,
we essentially
really
barely mentioned Africa.
Just giving a little bit of a background.
We've known the whole time that fucking cracking open Africa is a can of worms.
Yes, we've talked about it a lot of times.
But now, like, everything we just talked about now, it just feels so surface level that I would love to dig a little deeper,
It was hard to dig deep on this because I was like, I will get stuck on this specific thing,
exactly.
And then it'll run the whole episode.
You gotta sweep on over everything.
Yeah.
But maybe we could just start doing little, like, quick 20-minute breakdowns.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Maybe we could knock out a bunch of them in a day and we could toss them out.
How many countries are on the continent of Africa?
1 billion.
30? It's somewhere around 30.
A metric dick ton.
Metric is good. I like that you used metric.
Yeah, it's a good band.
How many? 54?
That's a lot of countries.
Holy shit, I said somewhere around 30. I was way off. 54
I need like
countries.
a fucking like a Wacko Warner breakdown on those. That's Wacko from Animaniacs.
Mm-hmm.
The way he did the
Is that the continent with it's got to be the continent with the most countries.
Maybe.
It has to be.
Okay. Goddamn, calm down. He looked at me wild-eyed. It has to be.
I mean, North America is in the teens. South America is in the teens. Europe, I'm not sure. But it's not 54.
I don't know. How does Holy See count?
Asia might. Asia, well, where's yes, Holy See counts. It's going to be close as Australia / Oceania.
Oh,
because
Oceania.
all those little islands
Into the
are
Micronesia. Micronesia's a fucking trip, man. That's a whole world. Just like James
so
Cameron's,
Oceania might have more than 54.
like
but
James Cameron's Avatar 2, Return of the Avatar. Wave water.
Sucks.
Avatar rules.
I don't
Shut
know
up.
why you go so hard for Avatar.
Avatar fucks, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Does it though?
Yeah, it sincerely does. Avatar's cool as fuck.
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, fucking.
I have a
just
hard time getting behind
big
that.
aliens, flying space monsters, fucking shooting shit with machine guns. It's cool.
Oceania apparently only has 14 sovereign countries.
Try Micronesia.
Micronesia is the federated states of Micronesia.
Try the
So-
search for Micronesia.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
So each one of those islands are not an independent country. They're all part of the federated states of Micronesia. See what I'm saying?
Word. Can we stop talking on microphones now?
Asia's got 48 to 49.
It's
If you include Taiwan. What?
nothing. It's just controversial.
Taiwan?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't say also if you include Palestine.
Well, there you go. Not so controversial. I haven't heard anything about them in a while.
Yeah, so if you include those two, it's like 50. Still, I think Africa has the most. Africa's definitely got the most.
Palestine be in Asia?
Yes.
Huh.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Of course it is.
What am I getting wrong
The
here?
separation between Asia
You know
and
what? I don't
Africa is
wanna
right
get
there
into
in
it.
Turkey.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm hanging up my headphones.
If you guys like this episode, the best way to tell us is to get on whatever you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a review if your listening platform allows that. Follow us on Instagram at Delete Everything Podcast. That's where you'll see all the photos that go with this and any of the other episodes we've done. If you want to send us a message, if you have a show suggestion, whatever that is, go ahead and send us an email at deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com. YouTube, check out our YouTube. Get back on there. If you haven't been on there in a while, watch some dumbass videos of us doing like our intros. When you hear our intros, how stupid they are. A lot of times we record those and we put them on YouTube. And Patreon, man. Come visit us. Come check it out. I promise you it's worth it.
It's good.
I promise you. You have like 50 episodes backlog plus a new one every week. You're going to love it. Anyway,
You're going to love the way you look.
Men's Warehouse. Bye.
We were talking mad shit about Drew. Yeah. A lot.
otherwise